I
Yeah.
might be I might be a little bit ignorant when it comes to breathing. Don't we all breathe?
We all
What's the
breathe.
difference? Yeah.
We all breathe, absolutely. The fear, the worry, the anger, for example. But of course, you're still breathing. If you stop breathing, you'd be dead.
Hello.
So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful episode of the DIASPORA Entrepreneurs Podcast. See, given the current situation that we are, so many of us as entrepreneurs, business people, or even employees, we are being like swamped with different information because of uncertainty right now. And my guest today, she's the founder of the Gut Intuition. So she'll be talking about how we can actually like go into our move from our stressful position towards success. Am I right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, don't mind me, ladies and gentlemen. So, but if you're in this space right now, listening to this podcast, and you feel that you're being stressed or because of the uncertainty, I think it is good you listen to some positive and good suggestions from experts who actually knows how to like deconstruct stress and maybe make you more aware of how you can actually help yourself. So today I am welcoming this very beautiful young lady with us today. She's an entrepreneur and the founder of the Gut Intuition. Shim Ravalia, how are you?
I'm very well, Victor. How are you doing today? Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm great. I'm great. Today has been a wonderful day. I started very early to be quite honest, and doing some homeschooling as well. So, but you know what? The different stress is coming out from um, managing the kids and managing the business. So today I'm very honored and privileged to have you to talk about stress today. So,
Yes.
and can you just tell a little bit about your company and your background?
Yeah, sure. So, the Gut Intuition I created in December 2018. So it wasn't very long ago, actually, that I've been doing this particular business. But the Gut Intuition is essentially all about combining the physical, emotional, and mental well-being together. Like, many of us get overwhelmed, many of us are stressed out, and we just don't know why and how to reduce that. Okay. And many of us want to be more productive. Like, many of us want to be more focused and have the energy, but a lot of the times, like, especially in my journey as a business owner, like, we're constantly hustling all the time. We're working hard all the time, playing hard or even harder, and it's not helping us in any way, shape, or form to run our businesses better. We seem to have this imbalance of not looking after ourselves and putting all our time and effort into our business. So the Gut Intuition really helps business owners go from stress to success, right? It's a system that I created and have put together to really help business owners and entrepreneurs really just come out a lot stronger. So
Yeah, on our pre-chat, you actually now you started as a sports I think a sports nutrition expert or something
sports
like that.
therapy,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sports therapy. Yeah. So was that how you kind of transitioned into this?
Yeah, so for 6 years, my first business, I ran a clinic in London, in Canary Wharf, for 6 years, helping a lot of people with back pain, shoulder pain, posture-related problems. But the biggest thing I was seeing with people was the problems were always coming back. So what else was going on? Could it be that they had other sorts of infections, viruses, inflammation going on inside the body? Was there something that they were worried about that was keeping them awake at night? Because that often happens as well. And what was their emotional well-being all about? So I started to understand that, the biggest stress that a lot of people right now are experiencing is money and not having enough, and making sure that whether we're going to have a roof over our heads during this difficult time, or whether we're going to have food on the table or not. Like, this is what the situation is right now. And while we can't control other circumstances, you can control your self-care. Like, you totally can do that. And that's where I transitioned from sports therapy, where I had a whole host of my own health issues going on. And this is where I felt the power of combining all three aspects of health together, particularly around our gut health and our cells as well. So cells, which is the first stage of life, really. So that's where I went down the rabbit hole a little bit deeper into health.
Yeah. Anyways, I saw on one of your articles where you say that in short, let me put it this way. Yeah, how does what going into your brain affect our bodies? These our guts that you created this whole program about.
So the question you're asking me is that what you're eating, how does that affect your thoughts?
What goes into our brain? Yeah.
What goes into the thoughts that you're thinking? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's all to do with the mind-body connection. That's a lot to do with the vagus nerve that we all have as human beings, right? So it's not that it starts from the brain or it starts from the gut. It's kind of simultaneously always sending messages up and down. The vagus nerve is actually in and around the digestive system and has thousands of fibers that will send those messages to the brain. So it's not so much that it starts from here, which is your brain, but what are bacteria? There's a whole universe of different types of bacteria in our digestive system, and we need to have a good range of them. And a lot of these bacteria will dictate how you feel on a day-to-day basis. So who's to say that how you're feeling is because of a thought that you've thought of? Could it be that what your digestive system, your bacteria, the levels of bacteria that you have could be doing that for you? Like, I find stuff like that absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely astonishing to understand that the bacteria that we have in our digestive system can sometimes dictate how we're feeling, our mood, our energy levels on a day-to-day basis. That's why my biggest tip for the listeners today is to really look at the foods that you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. I know a lot of people are bored. I know a lot of people are stressed out. So when we're stressed out, we naturally just want comfort. We want chocolates. We want alcohol. We want we just want to binge because we're upset. We want to do something to give us that comfort. But unfortunately, that causes a lot of dysfunctionalities along the way when we consistently do that for a long period of time. God knows how long we're going to be in this lockdown for, but your body just won't be able to sustain all that not bad, but unhealthy eating for all that period of time. There has to be a pause point. And my biggest tip really is to consume more of good quality fats like olive oil, coconut oil, flaxseed oil, and consume good quality lean meats. If you are a meat eater, if you're a vegetarian, then you need to make sure that you have a good range of good range of vegetables that are dark green leafy vegetables that has good amount of nutrients, because this is going to help you recover from the stress better. Because when we are worried, so if we're really worried, let's say we're worried about money, we're worried and fearful that we won't have enough and we won't have anything left, that is a thought that's continuously happening all the time, every single day. We have thousands and thousands of thoughts, right? But they all get filtered into different areas. So if that thought triggers a stress response in the body, thing is, there's acute and chronic stress. Acute meaning stress, like, for example, let's say you just received some bad news. That's acute stress, right? What you do after that is going to be a different thing to what you're experiencing then. Chronic stress is when you're in that state of stress for a long period of time. So when we're constantly worried about something for a long period of time, this is where dysfunctionalities of the body starts to happen. So, you know, we're talking about weight gain, we're talking about diabetes to a certain extent, we're talking about, you know, insomnia, all these things. I'm just sort of naming a few, but there are so many symptoms that start to arise when we're in chronic state of stress. And the best way that we can manage it, you know, my top three really are foods, sleep, and to breathe more. I know that sounds silly because we need to breathe to live, but too often we don't take the time out, especially as busy business owners and entrepreneurs. We are so passionate about what we're doing with our ideas, with our business, that we just want to keep going up that ladder. But there comes to a point where your body needs that rest, your brain needs that rest, you need that rest. So what I would say with that is that you need to take that pause point and do some deep breathing for 2 to 3 minutes. This calms your nervous system down, because when we're in a high state of stress, your nervous system is basically under stress as well, right? So you get those butterflies in your stomach kind of feeling, okay? Yes. So at the same time, you need to calm that nervous system down where you're able to rest, digest, and recover. Too often we're in fight or flight or freeze. That's what we're always in. So a fight, flight, or freeze example I would give you, say you're in the wild African jungle and you see a lion, and that lion's coming to eat you, it approaches you. That is an acute response to stress. You either fight it, you either flight it, so you're going to run, or you freeze, you're just not able to move. This is the same thing that happens in our businesses, the same response. It's the same thing that happens in the workplace as well. And it's the same thing that I feel is happening right now, especially with COVID-19. And what I'm saying is, if you're going to be in that acute stress, like I've seen a lion every single day of my life, if you're going to be doing that for every single day, you need to know that if you carry on like that, it's going to cause more dysfunctionalities in your body, which means that you're going to be eventually, like I had to, going back a few years, you'll be forced to take time out and actually work on your health, not on your business like you originally want to do, right? So don't get to a stage where you're forced to take time out. Use this time to look after yourself. Use this time to really improve on your own self-care, which is my biggest message.
Yeah, so you mentioned pause point, which is very, very interesting, because lately that is how I am beginning to look at this lockdown now. That this is like a gift, because most of us are in that state whereby we constantly see that lion every day and we start like getting worried, and now everything is paused. So I believe we're in a very good place right now, in my own opinion. So now, if say someone that's listening to us right now is on that chronic stress level, and we're trying to reframe the perspective now for them to realize that we are in a paused state, how would they, like, what are the steps that they need to like help themselves? Because we can't really help how the virus is going to go, or how this lockdown is going to how long it's going to go for, but for our own stress level right now. So what are the steps that we need to use to help ourselves to get from this stress level to success?
I'll be talking about some of these key steps in my upcoming webinar. The first step is sleep. A lot of us are staying up late because, look, I understand that we can't go and see our friends and family and hug people, so we're on social media a bit longer than usual. But to be honest, it's no different to without the lockdown. A lot of us are always going to be on social media, scrolling up and down, answering emails late at night, and there gets to a point that kind of needs to change. You need to have a better strategy in place to get to bed a little bit earlier and get adequate amounts of rest, so that you can get up a little bit earlier and feel more refreshed and have more energy to go about your day. That's the first thing I would always work on with somebody, is looking at where their time is going first, where they're putting their priorities, because there's no such thing as I don't have the time. Everybody has the same amount of 24 hours in their day. So sleep is, and time is where I would work with someone first. You need to get the rest. And then I would look at what they're eating. So bit similar to what I've already spoke about earlier around food, is that, you know, I'm not saying don't ever eat chocolate again, or don't ever eat donuts, cakes, drink alcohol, whatever. It's just in moderation, right? In moderation. Check in with yourself if you really truly want that, if that makes sense. Is it more emotional eating, or is it because I'm hungry? There's two different types of eating, right? So a lot of people could be emotionally eating because of the current situation and the stresses, which naturally would lead us to go, okay, I'm just going to eat whatever because I'm feeling sorry for myself. But what I'm saying is, the biggest message that I'm saying is that you've got a business to run. And eventually we are going to come out of this lockdown, which means that you want to come back to the scene with, you know, endless amount of energy, you know, accelerated focus, and a better balance with your health and your business. You know, I don't want people to come out of this lockdown in a worse off state with their health. You know, use this time, as you were saying, Victor, that actually work on your pause points, work on your self-care more. And last but not least would be breathing. You know, is the pause points. It is like taking time out of your day and just going, do you know what, today, like this happened to me last week, I just took a day out of not seeing my laptop, barely looking at my phone. I took myself away, and I literally for 20 minutes just went for a walk, because we're not changing our environments, right? We're not in Spain right now where it's really strict on the lockdown. We're in the UK where the government is still allowing us to go outside for a bit of exercise, go and get your shopping if you need to, and then come back. So still use that opportunity to change your environment, because, you know, my most recent experience was that, you know, I've been working hard on my own business and serving people and doing these wonderful podcasts and interviews, but all I was seeing is my laptop, and that I could feel that in my body. I could start to feel that I was feeling miserable. So changing your environment for you guys is like super, super important for everybody. It's so, so important. Just for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just pop outside. And for those that live in flats that don't have gardens, like, you've got the opportunity to just go for a 10, 20-minute walk in your own neighborhood and then come back. Your body will thank you for it at the end of the day. So
Yeah, that's very good. That's a very good analogy. See, when you were talking just now, you mentioned that you were actually forced to like take like a
yes.
second look at yourself. What happened?
What, last week?
No. You say you were actually forced. No, not last week. Some years ago.
Yes. So November 2018, my health was in a particularly bad state where, you know, I'd be doing a Facebook Live and then I wouldn't be able to do any more than 15 minutes because my stomach would just be in knots. It would be burning. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I got tested, and it turns out that I had a bacterial infection for quite some time, maybe 3-4 years, that I didn't know that was present in my body, that was causing inflammation in my body, that was causing me all this stress. And I put on weight, I stopped exercising. It hit my finances for sure, because at the time I didn't have a business. I let go of one and then started to work on my health because I had to. My body was just fed up of 6 years of working so hard on the business. Like, as you might know, Victor, like sometimes we wear all the hats. Sometimes we multitask in our business, right? Sometimes we have a team that we need to look after, and very, very little we put ourselves on the top of the list, that I need to be selfish for the right reasons to look after myself. And honestly, if your pot is empty, you cannot serve from an empty pot. What are you going to give? You just can't. And my biggest lesson for you know, fast forwarding today, is self-care. For me, success is self-care. It's really simple. I went from stress to success. And a lot of people, like, if I say the word success to you, Victor, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Success to me is, from one of the definitions I've got for myself, was moving towards, I choose what I want to do and start moving towards that. That is success to me.
Brilliant.
It's not really the destination for me, but just where I'm going towards. That is.
Yeah. To me, right now, just 2 words, success is self-care. Because the biggest change I made was putting myself first. And while I started to work on my own health inside out, this is how the gut intuition was created. I was like, this is super powerful stuff. I'm able to make decisions better. I've got more clarity. I've got more focus, and understanding someone's health inside out is super powerful. But when you know your own self, like, you can do so much. You have more control over your decisions, your actions, your behaviors, and everything that goes along with it. So for me, success is all about self-care. Years ago, when I first started the business journey, it was all about money, and success is a big topic that could be done for another podcast. But for me, that's where the system I created was all around. Is like, actually, if you look after, a key to a successful business is a healthy business owner, because the business owner has created that company from an idea. But if that business owner is not healthy, then where does that leave the business? No one else is going to run it like they do, because it's their vision, it's their core, right? So this got me thinking, and it was like, there's a lot of business and entrepreneurs out there that are, I feel as if they don't look after themselves properly because of the amount of stress unnecessary that we put on ourselves. And that's for a few key reasons. They just don't know how. They don't know how to reduce stress. They don't know how to eat well, or how to sleep better, or even how to change their environment, or just have a better quality of balance and health, right? So this is where I started to put everything together, my own knowledge, my own experience, and actually create this 7-step system that I've got now, that hopefully I'll be sharing live in a month's time. So.
Okay. So when is the webinar coming? Or when is the workshop coming?
So the webinar is running live. It's free. It's on the 28th of May. So in a month's time exactly. And it will be a 90-minute webinar where I will be talking about one of the steps of the 7 of the Simple to Stress to Success system, which is all around sleep. But I'll be talking about other subjects in there as well. And there's a whole workbook that comes with it, so you're able to work with me on the webinar and get stuff done as well. So it's really super powerful, and it's a lot of fun actually. So so the doors will open soon for that, and I'll definitely send you the link and more information to send to your audience, so it will help as many people as I can.
That would be great. You mentioned 7, but you gave us like 3, which is sleep, food, and breathing. Yeah. I might be a little bit ignorant when it comes to breathing. Don't we all breathe?
We all breathe.
Yeah.
We all breathe, absolutely. The difference between being under stress and breathing is that the fact that this goes back to your nervous system is what I'm talking about. If you're stressed and you're breathing and you're not doing anything to reduce that stress down, the fear, the worry, the anger, for example, but of course you're still breathing. If you stop breathing, you'd be dead. But if you're breathing, or shallow, rapid breathing, like quick breathing, like almost hyperventilating breathing when you're under stress, if you're not reducing that, if you're not coming away from that stressful situation, you go into that state of chronic stress, is what I spoke about acute and chronic. And the trouble is, when we're in that stress state for too long, this is where we start to have complications with our health long term. That's why I'm saying is that the easiest thing you can do right now is, if you're faced with, if say you've read an email and it's not the best news, and it's stressing you out, you're walking up and down really quickly, you're breathing really quickly, you're on the phone and whatever, you're upset, what you need to do is come away, take 2 minutes out and just deep breathing, real slow, the opposite to fast. Go to slow breathing and allow that air to go through and then come out. Too often we're just, how many times you eat at your desk, for example, we almost look like we're just wolfing the food down and we're not even breathing. It looks like that. It's very similar. It's very similar to when we're actually stressed out. It's like you need to come away from that stressful situation and actually take a few deep breaths. Because this is very much linked to the brain, because you've got the prefrontal cortex of the brain. When we're stressed, when we're angry, and we make decisions in that state, tends to be not the best decision we make. When we are breathing deeply and we've given ourselves that pause point, you're able to reflect and make better decisions. When we're angry, that prefrontal cortex of our brain gets cut out. I've never known any human to make a sound decision when they're angry, or when they're stressed, or when they're worried, or when they're scared. That's why breathing is a key thing. It's so simple. And I know why some people think, well, we breathe anyway, but actually none of the stuff that I'm talking about is rocket science. I just do it better than most people. I teach it a lot clearer and able to put it in ways that people can absolutely grasp and implement very, very quickly in their own lifestyles. That's the biggest difference. Everybody's taught to drink water, but no, and very few people will say, well, why is water so important, other than we need to keep hydrated? This is where I go a few steps deeper as to why. Like where you want to be and where you are right now. That's the key difference. So that's why.
So in essence, what you're saying, or what I'm understanding from this now, is that we have to be more intentional about our sleep, our food, and breathing. So would you like to share any more steps for us? You said 7, you're giving us 3. So
I would say one thing that I did mention was surroundings, which is the 7th step. And it's literally changing your environment. If it means that you can't go anywhere at the moment, then the best thing you can do is visualize. Like it is the case of just closing your eyes and almost going into just 5 minutes of just having that peaceful time for yourself. Some people like to call it meditation. I just like to call it space for me, like time out. You can visualize, and maybe this goes more into mental well-being and emotional well-being, but you can visualize and maybe think of thoughts, maybe holidays, or maybe like the beach or whatever, where it actually uplifts you more, rather than just looking at the current surroundings and going, it's all doom and gloom. Like this is if you don't have access to a garden, or if you're not able to go outside right now and go for your walk. That is my biggest tip when it comes to changing your environment, because your environment shapes you, right? 100%. And it's a mixture of who you're talking to, the air that you breathe, the place that you live in, and things that you're exposed to on a daily basis, and what you're using on your body, etc. So surroundings is really, really, really important to consider. But a lot of these things, I said to you before, is not rocket science. It's common sense, but it's not common practice. Right?
I like that word.
Yeah, it's common sense. Like it's common sense that I need to eat better and exercise and all this sort of stuff, but it's not common practice, because we're so used to just doing stuff like that on autopilot. Like you get up in the morning, what's the thing that you do next? Brush your teeth, shower. It's just so on autopilot that I know I need to do next. This is what I'm teaching in the system, is to bring this stuff that actually keeps you alive and keeps you running a better business out of autopilot and be more intuitive with it. Like, use your intuition when it comes to food, your surroundings, your sleep, your hydration levels, how you're moving on a day-to-day basis, etc., etc. So this is where that becomes really, really like magic. It becomes really powerful and useful. So.
Oh. Guys, so you hear what Shim has already given us, and if you want to continue this conversation or go more deep into it, she has a free webinar coming up where she will be teaching step by step and going into deeper levels on the steps that she has already given us. So from sleep, food, breathing, changing your surroundings, visualization, or just go out and enjoy yourself. Either way, if you want to take this conversation forward and really know the steps, because as she has already said, these are common sense, but they are not common practices. So, but if you want to be intentional about this, Shim, how can they get in touch with you? I know you'll be sending me the link so that I will add to the show notes so that they can get direct access or register for your.
Yeah, I'll send you that in due course, but you guys can find me on LinkedIn and you can find me on Facebook. And if you're going to add me, just drop me a message, a direct message, just to say hello. I watched your podcast with Victor, and yeah, so I know where you're coming from. So you're not just some random person from anywhere that wants to be friends with me. So just let me know where you're coming from, where you heard about me, and then we can take it from there. It would be good to connect with some of you.
All right, great. So guys, you've heard from her. She is the founder of the Gut Intuition. So you need to take care of your guts, and because according to her, 75% of your stuff come out from your gut, so, and it's vice versa. So make sure that you get in touch with her, and see, we all need this, because this is what we need at this current time, whether you're a business owner, a parent, or however it is. If you're not just a job seeker. See, we are all going through different forms of stress right now, whereby we need to apply one or more of these steps. So, so thank you very much, Shim, and we're very grateful to have you today to like educate us on how to be better prepared for how to like deconstruct our stress level, or be more aware of how these different layers are actually affecting us. So we are grateful for that. And also,
you're
guys,
welcome.
See, we're not making money from this show. We're not doing any adverts. It is your word of mouth and your share that actually takes this show to the next level. So all I'm asking from you is to subscribe, review. If you know someone that actually needs this message that has been like shared by Shim today, just share this message to them or tag them. Either way, make them get this message, and it would have helped someone. So from the Diaspora Entrepreneurs Podcast, we say thank you very much, Shim.
You're welcome.
And, we wish you all the best in your workshop.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
See ya.